So are you struggling to make a character that's fleshed out and three-dimensional, but they just keep coming up flat? Maybe working on edits leaves you going blind and you've got enough slash marks on your manuscript to make Freddy Krueger jealous. Hi, I'm Garrett K. Jones, and today on Creator's Corner, I'll be discussing character development and editing. I try to make new content every week, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Happy weekend! If you haven't had a chance to check out some of the other Creators Corners tips, you'll be able to find them when the playlist pops up at the end of the video, or by clicking on the card that just popped up a moment ago. If this is your first time watching one of my vlogs, don't forget to leave a comment or a question for next month's Creators Corner segment. So here we go. Character development and editing. So I want to start with editing first because it's a bit easier to talk about. You can hire an editor, which is the suggested method, or you can do the editing yourself. If you're looking for an editor, there are several people in the writing community who offer editing services, or you can find people on Fiverr who do excellent work for a low cost. But if you insist on doing the editing yourself, there are three things to consider. Number one, start with the broad strokes. Make sure to run spell check as much as possible to help with avoiding typos. There are loads of online word processing programs like Grammarly that can help with that, with structure, and more. Number two, or I should say step two, be consistent. Focus on content and continuity. This includes making sure your plot points match up with what you have written in your outline. In fact, check out the video on making an outline in one of the earlier Creators Corner videos. I'll tag it here. When you're working through the content and continuity, which can take more time than anything else, this gives you the opportunity to make sure that everything is consistent, like names, dates, and places all across the board. Finally, step three, fine-tune it. This means going back through the manuscript and looking for all those little lapses in attention that you might have missed. This is where beta readers really come in handy. If you can't afford a full-time editor, and that's possibly the case, this is a great money-saving tactic. Build up a network of fellow writers who are willing to beta read one or more chapters. It's like being in a workshopping group in a creative writing class. Your partners can provide you with the feedback, questions, and suggestions that can improve what could already be a great start to a good story. So give it a shot. It's all like a bullseye. Start with the broad strokes, be consistent with your content and continuity, and fine-tune it. So character development works just like a bullseye too. When I'm developing a character, I start the process by creating a dossier with a mental image of who I'm looking to create. If you've ever done tabletop RPG like Dungeons & Dragons, you can use the character design templates in the guidebooks, or you can simply make your own. If you are an artist or have some level of artistic skill, draw out the character. That could actually be a faster way of designing the look of the character that you want to create. For me, I use HeroForge, an online 3D printer, to design statues that recreate the characters. But it can't just stop there, because then it's just a superficial version of someone who could be real. This is where you need to get into the mindset and the psychology of the character that you are developing. In an earlier video from my Forming Fantasy playlist, I said that I have developed characters based on myself or other people that I know. This is a great way to start, but you need to look for other ways to make the characters unique and different. Mostly to avoid pissing off friends and family members who might read your work. Each one needs to be a real person. So here are a few questions to think about when you are developing the character. Question 1. Where is this person coming from, both literally and figuratively? It's good to know the personal history of the character from birth until current date, as well as what drives them as a person. What do they want to accomplish from the start of the story to the end? Question 2. How is the character connected with other characters? What's the 6 degrees of separation? What intertwines them? I was recently watching a video on another YouTube channel, Screen Prism, that was talking about the psychoanalysis of the Hangover trilogy. If you really want to get inside your characters' heads and develop their psychology, break down their id, ego, and superego. So question 3 has multiple parts, like what would they want, need, or do if inhibitions weren't a factor? How do they live according to the expectations and norms that other characters, society, and they themselves place in their life? How do they balance those impulses with the control that keeps everything else in check? So as promised, here's the identity of the first author who's going to be featured for Author Awareness August. Others will be revealed over the next couple of weeks. This is Caitlin Brooke, an award-winning author from Elmira, New York. She's going to be the keynote author in this series of interviews. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can support me on Patreon by clicking the link below. There are 3 tiers of $1, $3, and $5, each with its own sweet perks. If you'd like to see more tips like this, please leave a comment and make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell to be alerted when new videos are available. Be sure to check out the other Creators Corner videos, and I'll see you next week with the June edition of Forming Fantasy. As always, have a great weekend.